Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar News, your trusted source for the most current and accurate updates on Iraq's financial transformation. If you're here today, you've tuned in at a crucial moment, one that could dramatically shift the future of the Iraqi dinar. Make sure you're focused because what we're about to cover might challenge everything you've believed about this currency's potential. A recent internal document, structured, detailed, and far more credible than previous rumors, has surfaced, and its content is stirring serious attention. Though not officially confirmed by the Central Bank of Iraq, it proposes a revaluation rate of $0.39 per dinar. Yes, you heard correctly, $0.39, not a typo or digital error, but a precise figure attached to a calculated rollout strategy. The origin of this document appears to be high-level planning within Iraq's financial leadership. Unlike past so-called leaks riddled with speculation, this one reads like a strategic outline, well-structured, detailed, and aligned with Iraq's current economic moves. It describes not just a single rate change, but an organized three-phase rollout plan. For long-time dinar holders, this level of detail feels like a break from vague promises and a step toward legitimacy. Well-known financial commentator Mark Z, speaking through PDK, referenced the document while addressing comparisons to the Kuwaiti dinar. When asked about Kuwait's post-war revaluation, he noted it briefly touched as high as $9.88, though only for a short time before stabilizing. He emphasized that Iraq has learned from this event and does not intend to repeat such abrupt fluctuations. Instead of a freeloading model, Iraq reportedly intends to adopt a fixed float, a system in which the dinar will be pegged to a stable set of international currencies. The objective is clear: maintain market stability and avoid the economic shocks associated with uncontrolled rate swings. The document doesn't stop at just a revaluation. It ties this proposed rate to Iraq's growing foreign currency reserves, improving oil export data, and a reevaluation of sovereign assets. Since 2022, Iraq has steadily improved its financial position by paying off foreign debt, accumulating gold reserves, and implementing reforms to strengthen the domestic economy. These steps, largely ignored by the global media, may in fact have been laying the foundation for this exact moment. Within hours of the leak spreading, online platforms lit up. Telegram channels, Reddit threads, and WhatsApp groups flooded with reactions ranging from stunned disbelief to calculated anticipation. Some investors reached out to brokers. Others kept refreshing the Central Bank of Iraq's website looking for official confirmation. Though no public announcement has been made yet, the seriousness of this memo makes it difficult to dismiss. This isn't just about an exchange rate, it's a potential signal that Iraq is ready to step into a stronger global role. Revaluing the dinar wouldn't just benefit Iraq's domestic economy, it would send a message to the world that the country has moved beyond conflict and chaos. A shift to $0.39 would boost the purchasing power of Iraqi citizens and dramatically improve quality of life. For international holders who've waded through a decade of uncertainty, it could mean transformational returns. One particularly notable feature in the document is the term CBI, Alignment Initiative. This phrase hasn't been part of previous discussions, but the memo explains it as an effort to synchronize Iraq's internal policies with global foreign exchange norms. The vision here isn't a brief surge followed by confusion. It's about long-term credibility and market readiness. A phased rollout beginning with internal banking trials and later opening to the public shows that the architects of this plan are thinking beyond excitement. They're thinking sustainability. As with any major revelation, there are skeptics. Some analysts caution that this memo, while detailed, could still be hypothetical. They point out that Iraq has a history of rumors and that nothing is official until it's posted directly by the central bank. That said, early reactions from economists who've reviewed the document suggest that the proposed $0.39 rate is more plausible than many might assume, particularly if Iraq maintains its recent financial discipline and political stability. So where does this leave us? Eyes are now fixed on Iraq's central leadership. Will there be an official statement confirming or denying the contents of this plan? Or will the silence continue while preparations move behind the scenes? One thing is certain, the dinar community is more alert and unified now than it has been in years. Every online update, every market signal, and every official briefing is being dissected in real time. What comes next will either validate years of patient belief or serve as another cautionary tale in a journey marked by highs and lows. Either way, the stakes have never felt more real. As the global financial community keeps a close watch, one thing is becoming clear. This time feels different. Unlike the vague speculation that has characterized previous cycles, this leak appears to align with Iraq's actual economic progression over the last few years. It's not just about what the document says, it's also about when it has appeared. Iraq's leadership has been implementing meaningful changes behind the scenes, measures that reinforce the credibility of such a revaluation plan. A currency adjustment of this magnitude isn't something that happens overnight without preparation. According to the memo, the proposed $0.39 rate is based on tangible fundamentals: Iraq's rising oil output, stabilization of inflation, increase in foreign reserves, and growing investor confidence. These aren't theoretical data points. They're real economic indicators showing that Iraq has matured beyond its post-war recovery phase. The phased rollout plan described in the document is one of its most telling features. Rather than an immediate shift, it outlines a measured three-stage process. It starts with a limited release at the banking level, allowing Iraq's financial system to test the exchange rate in a controlled environment. This would be followed by a broader rollout, where the public would be gradually included through monitored procedures. This strategy reduces the risk of panic, hoarding, or system overload. Finally, a full-scale launch would occur, marking the revaluation as a new official baseline for both domestic and global transactions. Such planning underscores that this isn't a rushed political stunt, it's a comprehensive shift designed for long-term financial health. If implemented, the impact would be enormous. Inside Iraq, daily living standards would rise dramatically as the dinar's purchasing power grows. Essential goods would become more affordable, wages would stretch further, and confidence in the banking system would return. For those who have spent years avoiding formal institutions due to mistrust, this could represent a reason to re-engage with official channels. For international currency holders, the implications are equally dramatic. A revaluation at $0.39 could mean transformational gains, particularly for those who acquired dinars years ago at rock-bottom values. However, even with the potential windfall, caution is still crucial. Until the Central Bank of Iraq makes a formal announcement, no action should be taken based on unverified information. Experts remain divided. Some say the timing makes sense and that the underlying metrics support such a move. Others argue that Iraq still faces political hurdles, infrastructure gaps, and regional uncertainties that could complicate the process. Both views are valid, and it's important for everyone involved to strike a balance between optimism and realism. Regardless of where you stand, the fact that such a memo has emerged, and has done so in the current financial climate, suggests that serious planning is underway. The inclusion of a term like CBI Alignment Initiative implies that Iraq is not just focused on domestic reform, but is actively preparing to reintroduce its currency into the global financial system. That's not just a revaluation, it's a repositioning of Iraq on the economic world stage. One analyst reportedly commented that Iraq's economic fundamentals could support a revaluation rate of over 40 cents thanks to the sharp increase in gold reserves, sovereign debt reduction, and a more disciplined fiscal policy. Compared to where Iraq was 5 years ago, the transformation is substantial and difficult to ignore. It's these improvements that make the current speculation more than just fantasy. It's rooted in economic behavior and measurable progress. The public reaction has been intense. Community forums are abuzz with discussion. Dinar holders are debating whether to wait or act, and many are contacting local banks or currency dealers, hoping for any hint of confirmation. Meanwhile, Iraq's official institutions remain silent, for now. But silence can often mean preparation, and given the structured nature of this leak, it's likely that key stakeholders are working through final protocols. The next move belongs to the central bank. They can either confirm the plan, clarify its components, or issue a statement denying its authenticity. Until then, speculation will continue to build, but this time the speculation is supported by timing, structure, and credibility that hasn't been seen in years. So what should you be doing in the meantime? The first and most important step is to stay informed. Don't chase headlines or fall prey to fear-driven decisions. Stick with trusted sources and avoid acting on impulse. If this revaluation is real, there will be official guidance provided to everyone involved, domestically and internationally. Any process involving a rate like $0.39 will require regulation, banking procedures, and likely legal compliance. Avoid online brokers or so-called insider deals. These are often traps set up to exploit the uncertainty and excitement surrounding moments like this. If you're holding dinar, your safest path is to do nothing until the Central Bank of Iraq or the Ministry of Finance releases an official statement. That's the only source that matters. As you continue to monitor the situation, remember that even if this specific document turns out to be speculative, its existence signals a shift in tone. Real conversations are happening, real plans may be in motion, and the eyes of the financial world are now on Iraq in a way they haven't been for years. For anyone who has followed Iraq's financial path over the last 2 decades, it's impossible not to notice the shift in momentum. What once seemed like endless cycles of rumor and delay has now taken a structured, strategic form. The emergence of this document, regardless of whether it was meant for public eyes, demonstrates that plans are in motion at high levels. It doesn't read like wishful thinking, it reads like preparation. A revaluation of the dinar, especially one tied to a figure like $0.39, would mark not only a financial breakthrough, but a redefinition of Iraq's role on the global stage. This is more than just a currency move. It would indicate that Iraq is done being seen as a fragile post-conflict nation. It's a statement of intent, one that declares Iraq is ready to re-enter global financial markets as a legitimate and reliable participant. If this shift occurs, international consequences will follow. Iraq's trading partners would need to revisit existing agreements. Currency analysts across global institutions would have to adjust projections, and the international forex markets would respond to a new valuation standard that includes a reinvigorated Iraqi dinar. But even with all this potential, important challenges remain. Iraq still faces regional tensions, ongoing infrastructure development needs, and the ever-present task of maintaining political balance. A revaluation won't solve these overnight. What it will do, however, is offer a major economic reset, one that could help rebuild trust, strengthen institutions, and ignite broader national progress. The leaked memo itself shows that Iraq's leadership isn't chasing a miracle. The design of the rollout reflects realism, structure, and long-term thinking. This is not a plan to make a splash for headlines. It's a process rooted in discipline and responsibility. In contrast to earlier years when rumors swirled with no foundation, this moment carries more weight. The structure of the memo, the timing, and the level of economic detail suggest that this is something the leadership is seriously considering, if not already implementing, behind closed doors. For those holding dinar, this is a time to be cautious but not passive. Remain engaged. Keep learning. Seek clarity from reliable sources. If official steps are announced, you will need to know exactly how to respond. Expect formal instructions about where, when, and how exchanges will occur. Until then, avoid acting on incomplete or unverified information. And most importantly, avoid the hype. It's easy to get swept up in the energy of potential wealth or sudden change. But history has shown that those who remain patient, informed, and grounded are the ones who come out ahead. This isn't a lottery. It's the potential result of years of economic transformation and national planning. From a broader perspective, what's happening now is a reflection of Iraq's evolution. The country has endured profound challenges, conflict, reconstruction, economic instability, but it has continued to push forward. A revaluation would not only reward that perseverance, but also symbolize a long-awaited return to global credibility. It could finally signal the moment when Iraq's currency is respected not just within its borders, but across international markets. There's no official confirmation yet, and until there is, this remains a story in motion. But what's clear is that this moment, this leaked document, this rising optimism, is unlike what the dinar community has seen before. There's more strategy now, more transparency, and far more alignment with real economic progress. So, if you're listening now, your role is simple. Stay calm, stay alert, and above all, stay focused on facts, not fantasy. Whether the rate is $0.39, something higher or something lower, what matters most is that Iraq is preparing for a transformation, one that could finally bring years of waiting to an end. This has been Iraqi Dinar News, bringing you verified updates with clarity and integrity. If you found this update helpful, make sure to subscribe, share, and comment below. Your voice adds value, and your presence strengthens this community. Keep asking questions, keep digging for truth, and keep hope grounded in reality. The next chapter in this story isn't written in speculation anymore. It's being drafted through planning, execution, and legal reform. Let's keep watching. Let's stay ready. Because if even half of what's in that document turns out to be true, the future of the Iraqi dinar is about to change permanently.